on the radio, been watching since a baby, so I'm representing Casey Mo. Casey Mo, roll. I'm representing Casey.
Alright, it's Kansas Sports TV here, back with another video, and today we'll be talking about Kansas' draw in the NCAA March Madness tournament. First, Kansas got #1 seed in the Midwest region, so if they get past their first two games, they'll be playing at the Sprint Center 45 minutes away from Allen Fieldhouse, which is really close, and it'll be good home court advantage. But we haven't necessarily been the best at Sprint Center this year. Now, granted, that was out Josh Jackson at the beginning of the year when we played those games, but we weren't necessarily playing that well, even though it was pretty much like a home court game then too. I know it's not Allen Fieldhouse, but it's still really local and right in the heart of Kansas Nation. But first off, since we have the ones who have been playing a 16 seeds, as most of you will know, a 16 seed has never beat a 1 seed in a March Madness game ever in the history of the tournament, so it's not going to be an easy cakewalk. There's always the 1 seed that makes it close for a while, and then the 16 seed that finally shows that they're just not quite up to the level. But it's a play-in game, and I'm kind of hoping for to see the team. I'm glad that we kind of get to see the teams, but it's also kind of worrying because they also get a game before they play us, and so they're kind of in the groove and they've already played a game. But Kansas players, including the likes of Frank Mason, have played in the tournament 3 years in a row, and he's a real leader, and he'll know how to get the team ready for the game and show up. So I'm not really worried about the 16 seed. It's not a bye, but it's kind of like a bye. And then we go on to play the winner of Miami or Michigan State. I personally think Michigan State will win it. I'm not sure if they have a better team, but Tom Izzo is a pretty good coach, and I think he can definitely lead them to victory in this game. And I think that'll be a really tough matchup. And as many of the experts in the so-called bracketologists, Sports Center, and broadcast yesterday, they talked about how KU has not one of the big favorites, even though they're 1 seed, because they seem to always slip up to some smaller team, which has been true in the past few years. Well, last year it lost to Villanova in the Elite Eight, and they were a 2 seed, and they went on to win the whole thing. But this year, Michigan State with Tom Izzo, even if their team's not quite up to scratch as a typical Tom Izzo team, could be a very difficult game, and it could be easy upset because we've lost them many worse 8 or 9 seeds with not quite as up to par coaches. So I think KU didn't get a hard draw, but they didn't get an easy draw, and I think I think the hardest game for KU will be Louisville getting the Final Four, just because of their size, like most of the so-called experts will say, even though their brackets always break just like everybody else's. They think Louisville is just gonna match up really badly for Kansas, but I think Kansas got a good shot this year. But I actually think Iowa State. We've played Iowa State twice, and they beat us at Allen Field. So that wouldn't be an easy game if we ended up playing Iowa State. I'm assuming they're going to beat Nevada, but 12 seeds do seem to have a lot of upsets, and Big 12 teams have not fared very well in the past few years in the tournament, so we'll see. Overall, I think KU will definitely win the first game. I think we'll get to the Elite Eight, and I'll leave it there and just I'm going to make a video saying what I think the whole bracket's going to look like later. But reaction to the Kansas draw, I think they have a good shot at keep going forward with experienced players like Frank Mason, young hungriness talent before they go to the NBA, and Josh Jackson, he'll be back, which is part of the reason why we probably lost to TCU in the first round of the Big 12 tournament, and why we're not the number one overall seed in Villanova is. And then on a side note, just talking about the fact that Kansas State did make it in. I'm going to be doing a preview for their game, which is Tuesday, I believe, in the first 4 against Wake Forest. That would be an interesting game. And last 4 teams in, I think that was deserved after they beat Baylor. I think that probably got them into the tournament. And at one point, West Virginia had them sitting tight there for a second. But I think they can. It'll be interesting to see how they do and how all Big 12 teams in the tournament. If you want to check out my previews for Wichita State and Kansas State's runs in the tournament, they'll be up in here, and then you can also check out my Sporting Kansas City reviews. See you guys later.
On the radio, been watching since a baby, so I'm representing Casey Mo. Casey Mo.